Welcome back, Code Warriors. Get ready to absolutely power up your development skills today because we're taking everything you've learned so far and, well, leveling it up. We are talking about building a truly inclusive web. By the end of this explainer, your code won't just look good, it's going to be fundamentally stronger, smarter, and literally accessible to the entire world. Imagine building a beautiful website, but some people can't use it because they rely on screen readers, keyboards, or other accessible technologies. Accessibility ensures that everyone can access and enjoy your website. In this lesson, you'll learn how to make your websites more inclusive and user-friendly. Think about the physical world for just a second. Just like ramps help people enter a building, accessibility features help people access websites. You know, a staircase without a ramp is a massive physical barrier. Well, in the digital world, bad HTML is our exact equivalent of a missing ramp. When we write clean, accessible HTML, we are essentially building digital ramps, elevators, and automatic doors right into the foundation of our code. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap for today's lesson. 1. What is web accessibility? 2. Alt text for images. 3. Forms and semantic HTML. 4. Keyboard navigation and links. 5. Accessible multimedia elements. And finally, 6. Mistakes and a practice challenge. Starting us off with Section 1, what is web accessibility? Designing for everyone. So, accessibility simply means making websites usable by everyone, period. This includes people with visual, hearing, motor, or cognitive disabilities. But here is the amazing secret. Accessible websites actually end up helping all users. Think about curb cuts on a sidewalk. You know, those little ramps at the street corner? They were originally designed for wheelchair users, but they help parents pushing strollers, travelers dragging heavy luggage, and people riding bikes. Digital accessibility works exactly the same way. That's why government websites follow strict accessibility standards to serve all citizens. Educational platforms use them to reach absolutely every student, and e-commerce websites rely on them to massively expand their customer base. But, guys, we have a lot of work to do. Recent data from WebAIM, which scans the top 1 million website homepages, found that a staggering 95.9% of them contain detectable accessibility failures, basically 96%. To put that into perspective, that means almost the entire web is currently built with missing digital ramps. That is exactly why we are learning this right now, from day one, so you don't contribute to that statistic. Moving right along to Section 2, Alt Text for Images. Meaningful descriptions. I want you to pause and really think about this for a second. How would a visually impaired user understand an image on your website if there's no alt text? The harsh truth is, they just wouldn't. Users with severe visual impairments use software called screen readers. These read the code of your website out loud, acting almost like a digital braille system. If your image doesn't have a text description, the screen reader just hits a dead end. Or even worse, it reads out some messy, confusing file name like img_4920_final_v2.jpg. And this brilliantly illustrates what to do and what absolutely not to do. A poor approach uses an alt attribute that literally just says image. The screen reader already knows it's an image tag, so telling it image gives the user exactly zero new information. A good approach provides a genuinely meaningful description, like beautiful beach during sunset. According to Cite and Prove, a great rule of thumb is to keep this descriptive text under 100 characters while still painting a clear, vivid picture of the image's context. All right, Section 3, Forms and Semantic HTML, Structuring for Context. Here is another challenge for you. Imagine you are tabbing through a web page using just your keyboard and your eyes are completely closed. Suddenly, you land on an empty text box. How on earth do you know what to type? Is it asking for your first name, your secret password, your credit card number? Without a proper label, an empty form field is a complete mystery to a screen reader. A poor setup relies on just a raw input tag. Sure, visually, you might have text floating right next to it on the screen, but the background code doesn't connect them at all. But look at a good setup using the label tag. Notice the for attribute inside the label and the ID attribute inside the input. They both say email. That right there is the magic bridge. They are now programmatically linked, so when the screen reader finally lands on that input box, it confidently announces email address. Problem solved. This also perfectly sets up why semantic HTML, which we covered in a previous lesson, is absolutely vital. If your entire website is just built using endless generic div tags, You've essentially built a giant maze with zero signs. Assistive technologies just get completely lost. But when you use semantic tags like header, nav, main, and footer, you are providing a clear, logical floor plan. Screen readers can use this floor plan to quickly jump straight to the main content or skip right past a massive navigation menu. Section 4. Keyboard navigation and links. Moving without a mouse. So what problems do you think occur if a website cannot be navigated using a keyboard? Keep in mind, many users with motor disabilities rely entirely on the tab, enter, and arrow keys to get around. If your buttons or links aren't built correctly, they basically turn into digital brick walls. Think of a physical building that has an automatic door, but the push button to open it is broken. You can see the door, but you can't interact with it. Every single interactive element on your site absolutely must be reachable and triggerable by a keyboard alone. Now, what's really interesting here is how screen readers actually handle links. A screen reader can pull up a master list of all the links on a page so the user can quickly navigate. If you use poor link text, the user just hears a list reading, click here, read more, click here. It's totally useless. A good descriptive link, like contact us, tells the user exactly where that link will take them completely on its own without needing any of the surrounding visual context. Section 5. Accessible multimedia elements. Audio and video. NDN Web Docs lays out 3 major essentials when it comes to multimedia. First, always include native HTML playback controls so users can actually pause or play the media at their own pace. Second, provide text transcripts for audio so deaf users, or honestly even users with low internet bandwidth, can still read the content. And third, add closed captions to your video using WebVTT track elements. Just like how YouTube provides captions for millions of videos, adding them helps literally everyone, whether they're hearing impaired or just trying to watch your video in a loud cafe where they forgot their headphones. All right, bringing it home with Section 6, mistakes and a practice challenge to test your knowledge. So the crucial takeaway today is avoiding this checklist of top beginner mistakes. Seriously, if you check this list before you publish, you will be ahead of 95% of the web. Do not publish images without alt attributes. Do not use generic alt text like image or picture. Do not build forms without properly linked labels. Do not build a maze of div tags when you should be using semantic HTML. Do not use click here for your links. And never, ever deploy a feature without making sure you can navigate and trigger the whole shebang using only your keyboard. Which brings us to your mission. I want you to go create a brand new web page from scratch. It must contain a semantic HTML structure, header, main, footer. Inside, add a navigation menu with highly descriptive links. Include at least one image with a beautifully meaningful alt text description. And finally, build a form where every single input has a programmatically associated label. Once you build it, literally unplug your mouse and make sure you can tab through the entire thing. To quickly recap our explainer today, we've leveled up accessibility, alt text, form labels, semantic HTML, keyboard navigation, and multimedia accessibility. You've got this. As you write your code moving forward, I want you to ask yourself a simple question. Are you building digital ramps to invite people in, or are you building digital walls that keep them out? Now that you've learned how to make websites accessible to everyone, in the next lesson we'll learn HTML SEO basics and discover how search engines understand and rank